What's up, my dudes? It's your boy with episode 68, 66 of the Opinion Overload podcast. And we're just chilling out today. Yesterday, I was walking a dog. I saw a lemon fall out of the sky. It flew around a bit. I realized it was a hooded oriole, dude. I don't know that those things come to California in the summertime. That was lit. Never seen a yellow bird before. You just flying around being all yellow, being dope. I was like, that's what's up. You really out here being yellow. All these hawks out here trying to kill you. But they can't get to you. Because you two fly. I've been thinking about formatting stuff recently. Because I'm trying to figure out how best to do the research episodes. And that research is killing me, dude. I can't even lie to you guys. I haven't read in a pretty long time, so I'm trying to get back into the point where I can speed read. But it's brutal. I'm working through that book still, and it's just like, oh god, dude. I've purchased the next book for the concept I'm going to be covering. I'm basically going to be teaching capitalism from an illegal perspective. And the book I'm going to use to do that is Pimp by Iceberg Slim. Now, if you've watched The Bird Revelation and Equanimity by Dave Chappelle, he mentions it and he goes over a story in that. But I'm going to be using that and maybe another book that I have called Narconomics, which is how drug cartels work, to explain the basic tenets of capitalism. I was originally going to use Andrew Carnegie's biography to go through it, but then I realized that probably wouldn't be too interesting. I'll do something about him later probably because I like his character. But if I'm teaching capitalism, I should probably go with these other books, which I'm going to do. Now, the problem is I have to read through those in a short amount of time. I get 4 episodes to cover them, but still, it's hard. Now, the other thing I'm trying to figure out is how should I be really formatting these? Like, should I break the book up into 4 sections? Should I go and break it over like whatever period in that person's life or stages and what was going on in history at the time? And it's probably going to go with each one, or it's going to depend on the topic. But for now, I've decided that what I'm going to do is I'm going to release a preview. Essentially what I'm going to be talking about is going to be a 5-minute preview that you can listen to and you can decide, oh, I want to tune in this month. Or actually it's not or, it's and a compendium at the end, and it's just no music, no introductions. I don't know. I'll see how that works out. But all the episodes from that topic are clipped together in one long episode. So if you want to listen to whatever, all of the Crusades at once, you can. Now, the other thing that I'm trying to do is with the topic next month, I'll be doing video podcasts. I'll be releasing them to YouTube. The stuff we've got integrated on YouTube right now, last I checked a few days ago, I had no views at all. I'm not really too concerned about that. They're just basically audio tapes that have a WAV file in the middle of them and our podcast logo. But with the video, I want you guys to be able to see like who I am, all that stuff that you get with video podcasts. I'm not going to be live streaming them at the moment because of how the recording schedule works out and all that. But just know that's coming. On top of that, I'm almost done with the logo redesign. I'm going for a 1960s FBI aesthetic. I just got to do some background shots to get the logo finally formatted. And I'm deciding on how I want to release shirts. I'm looking at Printful. It's whatever. I mean, right now I just want to get shirts out so you guys can have some merch. Like, I'm not even going to charge too much for them. The lowest I can charge to get them out there so you guys can have them is what I'm going to do. And on top of that, I'm going to start doing, I forget what it is. Honestly, I'm just freestyling right now. So I'm kind of working the strategy out as I'm talking to you guys. But with the shirts, I'm also going to start doing like stickers. I don't think patches, because patches are going to be too expensive, but I'm kind of out on the design right now. I got a message on Reddit from someone who was talking about the Halloween Dick Pills and Gay Bombs, our first episode, I think. They were talking about that. They would love to see that on a shirt. I'll put it on there. I might do a custom print just for that guy, but I don't know how many people would be interested in that style. I don't know how many people would be interested in other styles. Like, I'm interested in just doing a logo shirt, maybe like the saying that I use for the podcast was going to be changing it to the fact is often stranger than fiction. But oh shit, I just dropped the mic on me. There's a lot of stuff we're trying to go for now, or that I'm trying to go for, because honestly, I'm sad that Sam has to go to Mexico for the time being, but I understand why. I mean, we talked about it in depth for about a week, and it would have been, it's just going to benefit him to go out there for a while. He's probably going to be able to do more to build up his personal career and to build up his journalism, which we will be establishing a content network. I mentioned that on the Crusade episode. I'm still trying to figure out how, because he has a talent for journalism. He's exceptional at it. When he gets something that he's involved with, he's exceptionally good at it. Now, if that means I have to do this on my own for a little bit, I'm fine with that. And on top of that, I'm going to build as much as I can the podcast to be in a position to where he can promote his journalism when he comes back. So I'm looking at maybe promoting my stuff out there with agencies like Midroll or Overcast, but that's it's no matter right now. I still have to get the money together. So in the meantime, I'm going to be doing posters and t-shirts and stickers for people. I'm deciding on maybe doing a classic logo run. If you want the classic logo, I'll print it and do it, and you can have that, and I'll also do the new logo. Other than that, like, I'm just going to talk about some shit that's going on. Ooh. On latest in U.S. politics at Reddit, crisis actor spotted at Texas child migrant detention center. Let's check that shit out. Okay. So according to Reddit from the LA Times, we're going to go through this article here. Let's just load it up real quick. First Lady Melania Trump paid a visit in McAllen, Texas on Thursday to make an unannounced visit to the migrant children detained at Upbring New Hope Children's Center. Thanks staff for their compassion and kindness, which whatever, that's bullshit. We've already seen the videos of the people doing weird shit in there. Damage control. The executive order on Wednesday. They're doing some clickbait shit. Basically, what they're saying is her jacket. She wore a military style jacket with paint on the back that says, I really don't care, comma, do you? It's kind of shitty. I mean, you're only going to a place with all kinds of orphaned children, essentially, that are being kept in a prison, which is illegal. There's a 1997 law that you can't detain children for more than 20 days, no matter the circumstance, unless they're tried in a juvenile court and all that shit. But, the whole situation is fucked. I mean, we can't disagree on that. The only reason he changed his stance is because the political outlash from it is too much. I mean, one, who even thought that was a fucking good idea? Two, to stand by that idea and then make claims that, oh, this was from a law way back then in the Clinton administration, it's dumb. And, you know, I listen to Joe Rogan's podcast all the time. He's up there and one of my favorites. But he said before that we have to hope Trump succeeds. And I agree in the fact that if he doesn't succeed, we're probably going to have some huge issues on our hands. But I really just can't like the guy. I really can't. And the thing is, it's like, if you're going to be the president, you just can't presidents lie. We all understand that. If you're an American listener, actually, if you live anywhere, you understand politicians lie. But you can't be so bad at it that people tear it down right there. Like, if you're going to lie about some shit, like if you're going to lie about detaining kids, be like, oh, well, these are all, whatever, say whatever justification you want to make up, right? You can't just be like, oh, this was done by the Clinton administration. Well, we all know that's fucking wrong, because people who were there and fact checkers are like, bitch, what the fuck are you talking about? We know this shit is fake. Honestly, the political climate is fucked, because you have, I was in a class this morning. We were talking about the whole union dues thing, and I don't know much about the situation, but it almost seems like you're having derision within the Republican Party at this point in time, where some people are going with the president, some people are going against him, even within the Republicans. And I do wonder if that's going to be some type of breakaway faction where, excuse me, we may even get an actual new third party that can get things, a centrist party, basically. The Space Force thing, too. I'm huge into science fiction. And personally, when anyone says we need to control space for national security, science fiction that usually goes poorly in the fact that you start getting wars in space. Wars in space, while they're cool, and in my opinion inevitable, really don't end well if those wars are fought in low Earth orbit, where shit's going to fall back down to Earth, potentially killing people. That's a problem, in my opinion. And then the whole, we have to dominate space. Like, what the fuck? How can you dominate infinity? Tell me how you can dominate infinity. For example, like Warhammer 40,000. Great series. The empire that controls the galaxy is so oppressive and theocratic and spread thin that they can barely keep communication with any of the planets in their empire. We've got one, potentially two, being that we terraform Mars or the moon or whatever. We're going to have problems just doing that. We're going to have so many problems just figuring out how to control Earth and Mars. We're going to have a solar federation, most likely, where each planet is going to be independently governed, because there's no way you can make a colony on Earth or a colony on Mars and have the people who establish a civilization there say, what the fuck are you guys doing? Just fuck off. We're going to be our own independent planet. They're however many million miles away, and they think they have any direct control over us that isn't through military, political, or economic means. One, if they terraform Mars, they would have their own planet, which means they could have their own economy and their own politics. They would be able to build up their own military. And when you have plant civilizations that are spacefaring, they're pretty advanced. So you'd have different types of weapons coming around. Like, I don't know. Probably isn't that hard to build nuclear weapons if you can travel between planets and set up new civilizations. Now, that's all speculation, of course, but it's going to be an issue on just the geopolitical scale, because the next country that's going to come out with the Space Force is Russia. And they're going to be saying, well, we need to dominate space too. What if we need to make some SALT treaties for space? Like, come on. One, the Air Force has been doing space research for a long time, far more than NASA. But two, what's the point of a Space Force at all? I mean, the Air Force does that research. The only thing you'd be doing is taking it essentially out of classified study and classified research and being able to keep all this stuff under wraps because the Cold War is still happening, and put it in the public eye, which The problem that we have with a lot of things, and but politically, is that we can barely control what's going on here. Like, we're doing it at the state level just fine, but at the government level, like, or at the high end of government level, like executive branch and shit, no one knows what's going on. Things change within hours. People who advise the president are just like, oh, well, you know, he said he was going to do this. 2 hours later, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing it. No. I think that's the worst trade deal in the history of trade deals. We need to be better friends with Bolivia for their gold. Of course, I'm not at all qualified to talk about this, but this is just my speculation. I wouldn't quote me or use me for any arguments. Use my research stuff for arguments. That's pretty solid. But when I'm just going off the dome here, honestly, I'm not even fact checking any of the stuff I'm saying. I'm just going way into it. I'm gonna check the time here. Oh God, I'm at 16 minutes. Do I want to go to 45 or do I want to go to 20? I really don't know. I'll go to 20. It's things are going to get weird. Now, the thing that I think was weird is there's a podcast out there called Monocle. It's actually a bunch of podcasts. It's a news agency. But they were talking about this morning that if they just turned away from all the border stuff and all the Space Force things and just looked at the economy right now, it is going up. I can't say it isn't. And I can't say that's good. Anytime the economy goes up, it's good. I may disagree with the ways you go about building the economy, but it's just, if anyone had political tact and was like, I'm going to override the president, there would be a much better PR situation going on right now. Because every day it's like some new shitty thing that's going on. For the past few days in the United States, it's been putting kids in cages, which, if you've seen the Telemundo news reporter who got called out, he said he went to the detention camp and looked at a kid pressing his face against a cage. It wasn't true. It was actually just a cropped photo of a kid pressing his face against like the wire shelving that you have at stores. That was pretty funny. But I'm going to talk about games. I just can't talk about politics anymore. You know, I think Fallout 76 is going to be all right. The thing I disagree with is the NPCs thing, but, you know, we'll probably see how that develops when they put the beta out or when the game comes out. I'm not going to buy that, though, before I buy Red Dead Redemption 2. I loved that game, the first one. And the second one coming out, like, the day after, or the same day as Fallout 76, I think. I'm buying that first. The second thing I'm going to buy is Hitman 2. I love the Hitman Season 1 game. It's so good. Because I just love, like, my favorite thing is stealth games and real-time strategy, but stealth games are so fun, especially the Hitman games, because I love Metal Gear Solid. I liked MGS5, but the fact it wasn't finished kind of drew me away from it. And the fact that it was an open-world game that got so big kind of took away options. Because it was like, oh, I'm just going to get a sniper rifle and just snipe this dude every time. But in Hitman, it's like you get to select your loadout and then you get dropped into a city. And they're like, you got to kill this dude and this dude. And it's like, that's dope. I love that. But I don't even think that game can put itself above Red Dead Redemption 2 for me. Because just from the screenshots and the videos, that game looks so good. Now, will I expect it to look that good on Xbox? No. Will I expect it to look that good on PC? Yes. But I have an Xbox right now, so tough luck for me. By that game. Now, I may get the Sekiro Shadows Die Twice thing, because I love Dark Souls. And Shadows Die Twice looks really interesting, especially from Just like verticality perspective, because Dark Souls, there was like no jumping. They're like, no one in this land can jump. It's not happening. It's just, it seems kind of cool to have that grapple armor thing, like heavily referenced or heavily inspired by Berserk, by the way. Another thing that I really, really hope goes well is Halo Infinite. Oh, that game looks so good. Just from the in-engine demo, which the game's not going to look like that, I don't think, but please just give me back the Halo that I liked. Not this Halo 5 shit where you have Master Chief and Blue Team running away from space police that aren't even space police. They're just kind of shitty at their job. And I guess they're friends with the fugitives by the time the game is done. It looks so bad. That game was so bad. Halo 4 was all right, too. That was the problem, is that there was potential. Halo 4 was all right. It had some problems, specifically Captain Del Rio, because he was an asshole for no reason. But there was potential. There was potential. And then in Halo 5, they just show up and they're like, hey, the main villain that we built up for a whole game beforehand, and could really be a big deal if we actually developed him some more. Let's kill him right off the bat. Right off the bat. Not even like let him escape. Like that's so dumb. And then the whole like none of the Spartans that you met from Locke's team were developed anywhere else besides the books. Like, what the fuck am I going to do with that? If I'm just a regular gamer, and I used to read the Halo books, I haven't read them in a long time, but I'm not going to go out and buy a comic book, an audio book, and listen to a whole podcast series before I play a game. If I'm playing a game, I want that story to be self-contained. Now, do I like reading the books for this stuff? Like, yeah, I really do like the deeper lore of games, but that doesn't sell to me. The only reason I played Halo 5 is because it was like free play on Xbox. And I played through the game in like 4 hours. And I was done with it. The multiplayer kind of sucked to me. It was really just Call of Duty. I preferred the Doom multiplayer around that time. It was much better, in my opinion. It was alright multiplayer overall. I hope they kind of get the Unreal Tournament or whatever Quake coming out thing together, but I hope Halo Infinite is really where it's at. Now, I'm at 23 minutes. I'm going to close this podcast for today. We're finishing the Crusades next week, and I will be catching you guys up with a video podcast, all that stuff. Hopefully logo redesign by then. As soon as I start the Capitalism podcasts, I will see you next Tuesday with the final part of the Crusades. Catch you later.